It goes without saying that if it is against federal law, the ATF shouldn't be able to have a gun registry. But we know that that doesn't stop them. They call it a database instead, as if that isn't the same thing. Still, 2 congressmen have now introduced a bill to force the ATF to follow federal law and dump the registry. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. A bill like this really shouldn't be necessary because, as I mentioned in the intro, it's against federal law for the ATF to keep a registry. Still, we know that they maintain what they claim is a non-searchable database of records, have illegally been taking photos of 4473s, have records of defunct FFLs, and have been digitizing these records. They say that it's all fine and good because it still won't be searchable or something. Yeah, right. So then it's not a real registry. It's just a collection of records of every gun purchase made through the FFLs and who has what. Which, isn't that the definition of a registry? In 2022, the ATF actually admitted in writing to Congress that it has records of nearly 1 billion gun sales as of 2021, including both digital and hard copy versions of these transactions. They claimed at the time that these were only out of business records, but there's a couple of problems with this. First, the illegal photos of the 4473s during audits of current FFLs, and the fact that under Biden, the ATF revoked a record number of FFLs. According to an investigation by Representative Michael Cloud of Texas, the ATF added 54 million records to its database in 2021 alone. So we have to wonder how many they might have now. He also found that while the ATF says no, the database is, in fact, searchable, and that the agency has been exploiting legal loopholes to expand this database. Further, while ATFs were previously allowed to destroy their records after 20 years, as that is the official longest average time to crime, Biden decided they need to keep these records forever. The ATF, meanwhile, says that the purpose of all of this is only to trace crime guns, which they are apparently actually pretty bad at. Now, before I tell you all about the new bill introduced to try and combat this video is brought to you by the Attorneys on Retainer. If you ever find yourself in a self-defense incident, you do not want to have to face it alone. The folks in the Attorneys on Retainer program are actual attorneys who have been defending gun owners since 1997, not an insurance program, which means that they don't have the same restrictions as insurance companies, and a call to their hotline instantly puts you on the phone with a lawyer ready to give you on-the-spot legal advice. Their only requirements are that you reasonably acted in good faith and that the incident happened after purchasing coverage, which means they'll even cover the questionable and bad shoots, like incidents in gun-free zones, unlicensed guns, domestics, accidents, you name it. They cover everything from felonies to misdemeanors, even appeals and bail bonds, and even if you are charged with a crime. Now, all of these are things that, as we have seen from some high-profile cases, might not be covered by concealed carry insurance, even if you've spent years paying into it. And really, who wants to count on that? So, switch over from your existing self-defense coverage by heading on over to my link down in the description and use code LibertyDoll to get $50 off your individual sign-up. So, fast forward, 2 of these same congressmen involved in sending out the letter to ATF to get to the bottom of this and investigating it introduced the No Registry Rights Act. This was first introduced back in 2023 and obviously went nowhere. But he and Senator Jim Risch of Idaho introduced it again on January 16th. The full name is a little clunky. It's the No Retaining Every Gun in a System That Restricts Your Rights Act, hence Registry Act. With it, we have a new press release from Risch. The No Registry Rights Act would require the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives to delete all existing firearm transaction records, allow federal firearms licensees to destroy transaction records when they go out of business, and prevent the ATF from creating or maintaining a firearms registry in the future. Risch and Cloud are joined by U.S. Senators Mike Crapo of Idaho, Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming, Steve Daines of Montana, Roger Marshall of Kansas, Pete Ricketts of Nebraska, Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma, Tim Shee of Montana, Cindy Hyde Smith of Mississippi, and 47 members of the House of Representatives. As I said, there shouldn't even be a need for this bill, but we know the ATF likes to try to go above and beyond their station. As Tom Knighton at Bearing Arms has pointed out, technically, all they're doing is holding on to the records that Congress told them to keep anyway, which will likely be the argument used against this bill. They'll also probably argue that it means law enforcement won't be able to track guns, even though it does not stop FFLs from collecting 4473s and law enforcement using them. There's some pretty strong anti-ATF sentiment right now, though, so I suppose that we could all be surprised. In the press release, Risch said, the Second Amendment is not conditional to a list of guns in circulation and their owners. All law-abiding Americans have the undeniable right to keep and bear arms. My No Registry Rights Act will safeguard this essential liberty for generations to come. Americans' right to keep and bear arms is not subject to a government inventory. The Second Amendment is a cornerstone of individual liberty, and no administration, Republican or Democrat, should have the ability to compile a list of law-abiding gun owners, said Cloud. The Biden administration's backdoor attempts to create a federal firearms registry are a clear threat to Americans' privacy and constitutional freedoms. The No Registry Rights Act will dismantle the ATF's existing database and ensure such a registry can never be implemented. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. This will definitely be a fun one to watch. You know that if there are any developments here, I will be following it and bring those to you. In the meantime, you know the drill for all of the algorithm things. Please do them. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting.